As far as we are concerned, we were looking at that we want to go back to the status quo of April 2020. Point number one. Thereafter, we will be looking at disengagement, de-escalation, normal management of line of actual control. And this normal management of line actual control will not just stop there. There are phases in that also.
This statement is massive. It's the Army Chief, General Upendra Dwivedi, emphasizing the importance of restoring the status quo along the line of actual control, which means how it was before 2020 Galwan clash. Now, this is after the talks that have happened, which means phased disengagement, de-escalation, rebuilding trust between India and China as the patrolling is set to resume. Now listen in to the statement that came in from China as well.
Over a recent period of time, China and India have been in close communication through diplomatic and military channels on issues related to China-India border. Now the two sides have reached resolutions on relevant matters, which China speaks highly of. Going forward, China will continue to work with India to implement these resolutions.
While these statements were being made, Prime Minister Modi landed in Kazan, Russia, right at that time. This is the 16th BRICS Summit, which means Brazil, Russia, India, and China, which means Xi Jinping is also going to be there right at this time. So the only question on everyone's mind, will the Indian Prime Minister meet the Chinese President Xi Jinping? First, a little background for you. What is the LAC looking like right now? According to the details, the satellite images we have, the patrolling point 15 is where the troops have been pulled back from. The Gogra hot springs, that's also where the troops have been pulled back. Galwan Valley that we've all heard about, that is where a certain buffer zone has been created. The north and south banks of Pangong Tso is again where that buffer zone is. The focus will have to be Depsang and Demchok. That is where the disengagement is yet to happen. Nevertheless, this discussion and decision has come after 4 years of core commander level talks. So there are 5 big implications that have come from these meetings, specifically about a certain stain that has been on India-China relationship because of the 2020 standoff. Can that be removed now? Number 2, clearer path for the resolution in Debsang and Demchok, specifically where the disengagement is yet to happen. And then allow India and China to together evolve a larger border breakthrough. And then permit focus on trade and economy relations. This is going to be important because this can happen right now in the BRICS Summit. But can I tell you the most important, number 5? To actually deprive the West of the leverage they may have between India and China. To basically imagine that apna issue hai, hum resolve karenge na aapas mein. To not let the Western nations dictate any of the direction to us. And if required, the West can help us, but to not misuse the friction that does exist between India and China. Remember that famous slogan in 1960s, Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, and then we saw what happened in 1962 India-China war. So can Hindi Chini become Bhai Bhai? Maybe not. Because often China has been accused of promising one thing, and the moment India lowers its guard, believing that promise, China does absolutely the opposite. But has China realized that this disengagement and resolution of issues is crucial at a time like this? 2 strong nations, stable economies, and a Western world watching all of this very carefully, specifically how this friction continues between India and China. In March 2024, remember that China had said that their border issues with India do not represent the entirety of their bilateral relationship. It also called for mutual trust between the 2 nations and to avoid misunderstanding and misjudgment. This would be easy if China did follow the certain protocol and the deals. But the fact is that the ease in border decisions helps both the nations. It also ensures no third party is needed to interfere in this. So on the heels of a breakthrough along the line of actual control, both India and China stand to gain. Enhanced ties, especially in trade and technology, will help. This marks a significant breakthrough after 4 years of tension in the region. Recent diplomatic and military negotiations possibly will lead to a certain disengagement. But why is it that China also realizes it may need India on its side, and if not its side, not a confrontation? Look at this way. Experts are looking to Prime Minister Narendra Modi presently and looking to India to possibly play a mediator role in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, because India's position as a non-aligned power allows it to maintain cordial relations with both Russia and the West and the Western allies like Ukraine, making it the ideal pick to, if needed, mediate in the conflict. And already the United States of America has been reaching out to India for friendlier ties. And remember that India is also friends with powerhouses like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and other nations in the Middle East. A Hindu majority democracy on good terms with Islamic kingdoms. Who is China friends with? Pakistan. Basically, not even friendship. China is the country that is investing in Pakistan because Pakistan is short on funds and future. But all of this is surround sound. What about the real friction between our nations, that is India and China? They are the two most populated countries in the world. Both are manufacturing and workforce giants. And they actually account for, according to reports, 17 to 18% of global trade when combined. So safe to say that both are important players in the global world order. That also means competition and conflict and chaos. We're also neighbor nations, so all these tensions add on to it. Mega human resources, so of course there's also a competition to retain that monopoly. But amid all of this, India is gradually also becoming a manufacturing hub of the world. Apple manufacturing and assembling products in India. China surely realizes what that means when Chinese economy has consistently shown a certain downturn, a low growth rate this year, and the world has taken notice of that. Even data from China, which can be highly restricted, has indicated that the GDP growth in the country has not been at its best, and the government has had to put certain targets on it. Yes, the fact is that China is strong with military and manufacture, aggressive in authority. It's a massive industrial hub. But India has the goodwill of the world, and that will be our USP. A historic civilization, present stable economy, and possibly a rising future world leader. Stay tuned on that. I shall be updating you on how this goes.